Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forged Lines Forever. Today, I have a 5v5 custom match here on the most amazing Neuroxys map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting off with Team 1 in the north, ending with Team 2 in the south. Starting off with Team 1's Western player, working away eastward, we have in Pac-Man Yellow, Varanacek. He is a Seraphim for this match, and he is a 1500. To his southeast is the Batman Gray player of Yerfmeister. He is a Cybran. He is a 1600, the highest rated player on Team 1 and in the game overall. To his northeast in Stage Blue, we have the central player of Caliber. He is a 1500. And traveling eastward here, we have in Barbie Pink Artifacts as an Aeon. He is a 1300. And last but not least, for Team 1 in Ruby Red, we have the Cybran commander of Careful Now. He is an 1100. So for Team 1 side of the map, they have 2 Cybrans, 2 Seraphim, and 1 Aeon, which means Team 1 lacks UEF technology. Starting off with Team 2's Eastern player, working away westward, we have in Snow White, Sanoman as a Cybran. He is a 1500. He and 2 other players are tied for the highest rated player on his team. To his northwest, already on the move, is one of those players, Ramper. He is another Cybran for Team 2 in Rust at a 1500. In the middle of the map here for Team 2 in Emerald Green is RGB VCMG. He is a UEFA for this match, and he is the other player with which Sanoman and Ramper is tied with at a 1500 rating. And in Tropical Ocean Blue to his west is Dr. Alexis. He is an Aeon, and he is a 1400. And last but not least, for Team 2 in the southwest corner of the map, we have LCR in Light Octane and is an 1100. So for Team 2 side of the map, they have 2 Cybrans, 1 Seraphim, 1 UEF, and 1 Aeon, which means Team 2 has all of the factions on their side of the map. Team 1 is lacking UEF tech. And for 10 players on the map, let's take a look at how much reclaim they have to scoop up. Doesn't really look like a whole lot given the numbers on screen. Currently sitting at 4,000 mass, which means that's only about 400 or so mass per player. It's not really, I mean, anything to write home about. It's something, but not really that important to go for in terms of, like, there's other things, probably more mexes and stuff, a little more important. Speaking of mexes, taking a look at Team 1 side of the map here, we already see that Yerfmeister has grabbed his Trimax position as well as Caliber, but there are 5 Trimax positions on the front line, each for one of these players to grab. There's also a Trimax position in the back here for, it looks like Caliber's grabbed that one, and it looks like the player of Varanacek's going to grab the other one back there. So there are 7 Trimax positions here on Team 1 side of the map with a couple of ones dotted around the map. There's kind of a little bit of devoid of mexes kind of on this west and eastern side of the map here. And really there's, I wouldn't say a decent amount of mexes, but there's not really a lot of space between these ones. I wouldn't be surprised if these kind of go no man's land. But these ones will be on Team 2 side of the map. These ones will be Team 1 control. And with that out of the way, let's take a look at where our players are headed off to in this game. Actually, we'll keep it a +1 just to get them a little bit further out to the middle of the map. Her gun has been started for Yerfmeister, and there is no environmental issues. Not issues, but, like, I don't know what you would call it, just topography. It's just flat. There's like tiny hills, but it's a very flat map except for the corners of the map that have some mountains, which really won't affect anything because they don't go all the way around the map. So players can't hide any ASF or bombers or anything on the edges. So it's primarily just go. It's just land all day, go. So every player on Team 2 side of the map has made their way to their Trimax position. We do see that RGB has pushed a little bit into the middle. A couple of raiding units outbound from Dr. Lexus, who already has the range upgrade and is immediately going for the advanced range upgrade, which will heavily assist this western side here for himself and his team. Gun speed and range has been started for LCR in the west. We do see that everybody has started to make their way out of their main base for Team 1. The only players kind of lagging behind a little bit are Careful Now in the eastern edge and Artifacts a little bit west of him. But he already has his Trimax position already built and going forward. We do see a possible run-by attempt on the cards here for Careful Now, but it does get intercepted by Sanoman. And it looks like those forces will be forced back. They'll do a little bit of damage to the comms chassis, but not really a whole lot. They will kill an engineer. but the mass loss with the engineer is not worth the mass loss by those units. So it'll be a little bit in favor of Team 2's Soundman for that little bit of a reclaim. We do see again that gun is upgraded and ready to go for Yerfmeister. Going to face off against the advanced range and now almost speed commander of Dr. Lexus, and he's going to push in. Unfortunately, it's not really going to go well for him. Of course, the speed upgrade allows the Aeon commanders to fire twice as fast. The Yerfmeister has a little bit of an advantage in that regard because his upgrade's already done. However, it's already at 60%, so by the time that comm comes into range of Dr. Lexus, that upgrade will be done. We do see a gun upgrade has been started for Rampur in the east, and a gun upgrade has been started for Careful now. And really the lanes or the sort of like avenues of attack here for these teams, they're just everything, but I'll cut it down the middle. Let's just say there's 2v2 in the west, 2v2 in the east, 1v1 in the middle. Stealth has been started for Rampur, and gun is almost done for Team 2's RGB. And of course, we do see that Yerfmeister and Dr. Lexus are trading blows. Dr. Lexus has taken a little bit more damage to his commander than Yerfmeister has, but of course, Dr. Lexus sitting at 1,000 more hit points base on board that commander. And Yerfmeister dropping, I'd say, decently quickly here. I mean, it's just same damage back and forth between these two players. We do see that, of course, Dr. Lexus lets Yerfmeister get out of range, not willing to kill off a player this early in the game. Range upgrade has been started for artifacts, and what that does, of course, is doesn't give another base to somebody else. It does look like LCR is coming in with his gun upgrade to assist, or possibly just grab those 2 rocks. And Team 1's Veronicek still holding here in that Trimex position to the west. We do see that there's a little bit of pushing for, it looks like Team 2's Rampur going up against the now range upgrade for artifacts, going for advanced range here shortly. Of course, Rampur and artifacts are at the same range in terms of like being able to shoot one another. Unfortunately, artifacts can't see him because of the stealth upgrade. He needs to be able to visually detect him, and this will cause that upgrade to actually be canceled and force the engagement here. RGB is moving in and actually coming in to the middle and just holding position. He could easily actually push in and assist and going after artifacts. But again, like I said earlier, Team 2 or Team 1 doesn't want to give anybody on the northern side of the map any sort of double base this early in the game. We're talking about almost 10 minutes now. It's a little bit too early to give someone dual eco and really scale very, very quickly. Everybody is about 75 mass per second or lower. Caliber has actually moved in from the middle and pushed him with his little Ilshis over here in large spam outbound from Yerfmeister, going for a stealth upgrade. Of course, he's now dropped into the yellow, but he'll be back into the green, especially with some assistance from his Mantis nearby. You do see that Veronicek still holding position at his Trimex position, but is sending his units in to assist against LCR's forces. And in the east, Team 1's careful now, not being really careful here, just pushing in. We do see Rampur falling back, and now, of course, Sanderman moving in to intercept as well. So it's a lot of back and forth here. Again, there's no rocks to hide behind, or like mountains or so. There's no water to hide in. There's no safety net. There's no nothing. It's just blank. It's like playing a super flat Minecraft world would be given. The example that I would give is just there's nothing. Absolutely nothing. Just, at least in this case, sand as the eye can see. It's like Tatooine with nothing on it, essentially. We do see that Caliber getting some assistance from Yerfmeister commander going for that upgrade. Dr. Lex is sitting barely in range of Yerfmeister's commander. I wouldn't be surprised if Yerfmeister just falls back, but no, he's going to continue to just assist with the upgrade. Veronicek actually moving in with his commander. He has gun on board. Advanced range on the way once again here for artifacts. Couple of some mexes being taken out here by RGB, just kind of sniping at some eco that he can. We even see some mexes over here for artifacts as well. Maybe they were donated over. No, they're Aeon. He's Cybran. So, yeah, they were grabbed by artifacts, interestingly. We do see now a 3-comm push here for Team 1. Moving in against the advanced range commander of Dr. Alexis. And those commanders don't look like they're going to be stopping anytime soon. And the comm of LCR needs to move in and intercept, or this is not really going to go well here for Team 2 on this western side. Eastern side of things here, again, battles just raging back and forth. We do see a little bit of outcropping here from Team 2 on the artifact side of things, where some Ilshis are moving in to shore up defenses. With that, Caliber has... Oh, okay, looks like he has to give his comm orders once again. PD emplacements trying to be hastily built as fast as possible. But Team 2 is losing territory over here. 4 commanders just duking it out here. LCR needs to move in and intercept. He's still hanging out over here. Looks like he has started to actually move in. It's going to take a little bit longer to get their shield now coming on the way here for artifacts in the east. I don't see any sort of thing. Oh, there's the commander over there, but nothing really too big happening. Back over here in the west, Dr. Lex is still retreating. His base is gone. Couple of PD still alive, but not alive for longer. We do see now forces from RGB moving in, and he's actually kind of fall back a little bit. He doesn't want to be cornered in the middle of the map here, or sandwiched in the middle of the map, I should say. Can't really be cornered in the middle. It doesn't really make sense. We do see Caliber still holding a little bit back, though. They don't want to go for the kill on Dr. Lexus. They just want to kill everything economically. We do see some Trimex positions have now been taken out by Team 1. This one is gone. So Team 2 is suffering a little bit in the eco department, at least the exterior mexes, but they're hanging in there with the upgrades, going for a lot of T2 and possibly T3 mexes here shortly. Sitting at about 25, 30 mass a second more than Team 1, which isn't a lot. That's about 6 mass per player, which that's 1 T2 mex per player more than Team 1, which isn't that bad to be a deficit off. We do see some T3 units now online here for artifacts. He's kind of skipped the T2 phase, gone straight for T3, which, I mean, that is a strategy, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Just depends on position and map and all that sort of things. But with Team 2's RGB being a little bit more defensive, it gives them the ability to do that. And with some Ilshis inbound from Caliber, I feel like they should be handed off to artifacts. He has speed, shield, or at least the first shield upgrade, and the advanced range upgrade on board. That is an Aeon Sniper Commander now online for artifacts in the east. Careful now, still only has the gun on board. We do see now RGB slowly moving in. ASF's protecting Varanichek's commander. He has T3 air online. His opponent of Sanoman also has T3 air online. I had to figure out who was who for a second. T2 air also online for RGB, so he's able to help out at least a little bit in the bomber department with those fighter bombers inbound from, what's one of those? Those would be the Janus. We do see some of those armatures starting to rampage over here. Rampire pushing back against artifacts. Those Jussis have also fallen back. Eastern Edge trying to make another attempt here. There are units moving in, but there's also some T2 units in the mix here. A couple of hoplites, and also as well as a couple of rhinos. A nice little mix of units, also AA as well, so definitely a good spread of abilities there. Careful now, not pushing in with his commander, deciding to just be a little bit more careful with his commander at least. We do see another attack brewing here in the west here for Varanichek. So while he's microing the air department, he's also microing a land engagement, and we do see LCR starting to be overwhelmed here. He does have a couple of T2 PD, which are very effective at dealing with T1 units. And you can see those units have now fallen back. One of those PD will go offline, and the T1 does as well. But I think I'll be happy with that trade. Just dealing with a large group of T1 forces is better than nothing. We do see, look at this, in the middle of the map here, we have RGB literally about to get sandwiched here by Team 1. We see artifacts from the east and Eurofmeister as well as Caliber moving in from the west. RGB has got to move. We see some reinforcements inbound from the south, but RGB actually cancels that upgrade, starts to push in against artifacts, but at the same time is losing territory in the middle. He is going to get bodied here by Team 1, and that is not going to go well. T3 Optims are in range, and those are outbound from Caliber, so multiple players on Team 1 have just gone straight for T3 units. We see a couple of Titans online for RGB, but not too many, and they can't really fight back on the power of that magnitude from the Optims. RGB is at 1-star veterancy now. Overcharges would definitely help with this, but it's just being steamrolled here by Team 1's comms. We do see Artifacts' units have kind of been depleted quite significantly by Rampire's forces, but this is not going well here for RGB. We are seeing some Percys now emerge, which will definitely help dealing with these T2 units, but he really needs just as many shots as he can. RGB falls below 1,500 hit points. Artifacts gets an overcharge, kills off that Percy, essentially one-shotting him, and there he goes. Team 2 loses the first player of the game, that being RGB at 17 minutes, dropping this game to a 5v4. And it looks like there are some PD that might stave off this attack from Team 1, but looks like Artifacts might continue the pressure. He's going to start reclaiming as well, scooping up as much mass as he can. Team 1 now in the lead. for match generation for now. And on the east, another edge attack is trying to happen, but there's really nothing here to stop it except for the commander of Sandman, who has no upgrades on board. Looks like the units are just going to go in for those T1 mexes. I think that was a strat bomber also inbound from Sandman. We see he's dealing with an attack from Careful Now over here, so his forces are distracted there. That plane, or that bomber flew off screen. There he is. Yep, that is a strat bomber. We do see this Triumph Expedition here now under the control of Rampire is being destroyed. There are some Percies and bricks moving in to try to save it, and it's not really focusing the mexes. I feel like they probably should, though. And those 3 mexes actually will stay alive, quite surprisingly. I feel like the macro could have easily just been attack all mexes and then just die from Yerfmeister. But Team 1 has gained a nice victory, but of course the downside with killing off a player on Team 2, just like we talked about earlier, is Rampire now has dual bases. He's sitting at 250 mass per second. Everybody in the game is at least over 100 mass. He's the only one at 250, but there are 2 players on Team 1, that being Yerf and Artifacts, almost at that 200 mass income stage. So again, egos are being scaled quite nicely in this game. Not as fast as we've seen in other games, of course, or slow, depending on the match. We do see some engineers outbound from Caliber going for, again, reclaim efforts, cutting down on the travel time, dropping the units in right on top of some Harbingers, which is, I will admit, not the smartest idea to do. We do see engineers already on station for Rampire, and that Harbinger group goes, oh yeah, there's a transport, and it was got shot down. That bouncer also helped with that as well. But it looks like Team 1 congregating all of their comms in the middle. 4 of the 5 of them are right here in the middle of the map, kind of leaving the western edge kind of uncommanded, giving LCR a little bit of an advantage. Of course, he is facing down a decent group of T1 forces and some of those missile launchers kind of being a little annoying. But this is a little dangerous, having all these comms right here. Granted, there's no nukes as of yet, but that would be a 4-player kill if a nuke landed in the middle of that lineup. Definitely dangerous to put all their eggs, almost all their eggs, in one basket. And Careful Now has actually fallen back behind his main production facilities just to make sure he doesn't get sniped earlier on. So, again, he's being careful like his namesake is. But Team 1, that's a lot of power. It does look like Yerfmeister is retreating back to his base. Looks like Caliber is going to reclaim and then go back to his base. So they are splitting up. So there isn't a nice little 1, 2, 3, 4 punch here for Team 2 to exploit. Shield Heavy has been started for Dr. Lex. Is going to put his comm back on the front lines. Air grid being expanded upon here by Sanoman and by Varanicek. We haven't seen a lot of area as of yet, but given the map configuration where it's just kind of a super flat map, land is really going to be a huge component of this game. There's really no like choke points. You can build some, fire bases and a bunch of PD and kind of just hang out and then just like shoot whatever comes nearby. I mean, there's avenues of attack everywhere because there's no lanes, as I like to call them. You kind of use the League of Legends, Dota kind of terminology where there's 3 distinct ways to get to the other side of the map. Not those are the only lanes or the only ways, but the very there's literally top, bot, and mid. We do see that Artifacts is being bombarded by fire from these Titans and Harbingers, and now Bricks inbound. Would like to see a Percy mixed in there or two, but I get the Percy was probably destroyed if there was a Percy. We do see this Optim is not going to be enough for Caliber. He is having that shield help protect the comm of Artifacts, but he's being forced back. He only has the regular shield, not the heavy one. We're missing 17,000 hit points of shield, but overcharges that Brick insta-killing it. Almost that 4-star veterancy. That'll give him a little bit more hit points to play with once that Harbinger dies. I think that's going to be enough. Yes, it is. Another overcharge finishes off that Harbinger. Some bouncers going down. Really using Caliber's forces to kind of just tank most of the shots. And again, that's just what you have to do sometimes. I kind of would like to see Caliber gift those over to Artifacts, but I feel like that engagement went pretty well considering everything that happened. More units from the west here from Yerfmeister coming in to relieve the pressure from Artifacts. There are, of course, some sniper bots in the mix as well, getting some nice long-range shots. They are super weak, and of course they are better at dealing with not weaker units, but kind of the mid-tier. If they can one-shot units very easily, that's probably the best thing for them. Or you just get large number of them and just wipe out T3 units very quickly. We see engineering nonsense happening here from Dr. Lysis to just kind of take up some shots here from Team 1's forces. We are seeing a little bit of LCR's forces starting to push in on that western side. He actually built some wall sections to deter just using the edge of the map to Team 1's advantage, so I love to see that. Essentially focusing their attention directly on the doorstep of LCR. We've seen the disadvantage of not doing that on the eastern side here for Sanoman, just not building a couple of wall sections. Annoying. Careful now. But everything is kind of quieted down besides this just constant pressure from the middle. Team 1 has 5 players remaining. Team 2 has... okay, scratch that. Team 1 has 4 players remaining. I just was going to go into my little how's the game going so far. If somebody reject him, you got to leave now. RGB is out of the game. 4-2. 4 kicked him. He is not dead. He was dead. Looks like possibly Caliber had some connection issues and he was forced out essentially. That, you know, it does happen from time to time. Always unfortunate, but that is a departure for Team 1, making this now a 4v4 tied up game here for Team 1 and Team 2. Team 2 lost RGB earlier on. Team 1 sitting at 1.3k mass income. Team 2 at 1,000 mass income, so at least a 250 or so advantage in mass generation. Map controls definitely fluid, but back and forth, but there is a Colossus now online for the middle for Team 1's artifacts, so that will start to kind of send some things in their direction. But of course, let me know down in the comments who you think is going to currently win this game, and of course, if you haven't done so already, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so very much for watching. And of course, as always, share this video with anyone, everyone, and most importantly, your pets. We do see in the east, Sniper Bot. Strat Bomber is outbound, going to get a nice little twin mechs action here with that bomber. Very efficient with that. Gets up to 6,000 mass killed. Going to move over here, grab that radar system would be good, but also going after more mexes and going to grab a smaller radar, but again, something's better than nothing. It will get shot out of the sky, though, unfortunately, by these... Oh! Nope, it gets barely out of range. There is some T3 AA back here, though, that it will run into and will get shot down, but it definitely paid for itself and then some with the mass killed from that bomber. And, of course, does knock out 12 mass a second with those 2 mexes. Actually, 18 mass a second. Excuse me, there's one over there. We are seeing now a Monkey Lord online as well for Eurofmeister, so 2 experimentals for Team 1. I was going to say none for Team 2, but Dr. Les has built his experimental. It is the Colossus. Team 2 does have access to UEF tech from RGB side of things. So they have access to Fat Boys if they so decide to go that route. So far, no experimentals. Oh, nope, there is one being built by Rampir going for the Crab, the longest range of the main line T4 units. I don't count the Fat Boy the main line just because it's artillery based, not really like a shoot, he more like launches kind of thing. I know it's kind of weird to like use, like you do fire projectiles one way or the other. Either it's, you know, from a barrel or whatever the, you know, case of missiles or whatever you want to call that kind of thing for AA. But, and it's kind of weird because when I say direct fire, I mean like you're shooting straight at the target versus lobbing a shot kind of thing. So you're not shooting, you are shooting at it, but not direct. It's weird how I phrase it. So if that confuses me or anybody else watching, that is what I mean by it's not a direct fire weapon. It is a like kind of a, I don't know what you would call that, just a non-direct fire weapon, more like a lobbing shot or like artillery or something like, I don't know. Anyway, we do see ARAS coming online here for Eurofmeister. He now has 2 bases sitting at 650 mass per second. Team 2, Sanoman and Rampira on dual base has 300 and almost 400 respectively. Respectively, not respectfully. And then Dr. Lesk is sitting at 318, 319. Anybody else is below that. Artifacts is almost at 400 though. But again, like I said, this is going to be a land game. We've seen very kind of just quiet everywhere. We're seeing a little bit of units outbound from Rampira using those Titans to rapidly respond to just whatever they can, but we do see that units are moving in to kind of close the hole, but actually you're going to open a hole to allow these units from Rampir to move in. That's definitely unfortunate, but looks like he actually calls them back though. We are kind of surprised. Oh, nope, there is a monkey. I was going to say, it's kind of surprised not to see a Cybern build a monkey, but he did build a monkey. Is Team 1 building any more Colossus under construction? The chicken under construction, it looks like. Eurofmeister going in that. And crab. He's building a chicken and a crab at the same time. So we may see one of each besides the Fat Boys online for Team 1 here shortly. We see, of course, the bricks being able to bat away those Titans. Titans, again, very good at just being annoying, raiding mexes and other units, but when it comes to direct, bot-on-bot action, kind of lacks a lot of stuff. It's kind of the example I give is, imagine the hover tech units at T2, so the Riptides, the Yenzine versus like the Rhinos or the Pillars. Like there's a lot of utility for those hover tech units, but when it comes to straight damage, it's not as good. We do see the Colossus inbound. Mechs goes offline. Engineers trying to rebuild those mexes. That goes offline. T3 mechs about to lose some of its mass storages. Going to lose a little bit of income. T3 Titans focusing on the mechs itself. Will not kill it off. The Titans still firing, even though it's been caught going after a random AA Seeker turret. We do see that Nuke has been pinged by RGB, and there is a nuke, and it's almost loaded before 30 minutes. Team 2, do you have SMDs online? And you're probably building some soon, but probably not. No, there's one over there, but it's not loaded. So that is going to be a free nuke for Team 1, and where is Artifacts going to fire it? Oh, so a couple of Titans running around here being annoying. Nuke is outbound. It's going for this base. Surprisingly enough, not going for the air grid, not going for the mass income, not going for anything of that for the air player. Very interesting. There are some Corsairs inbound, possibly for that Colossus. Actually, not that Colossus, that monkey. That is Team 2's Colossus. Don't fire on your own units. We see those Corsairs are inbound going after bricks. I don't really know what that attack was going to accomplish, but it looks like they were possibly going for just a unit sitting there. But that monkey is DED, and of course, let me go back. Kaboom! Kills off a ton of stuff over there for Team 2. Kind of nullifies a lot of Rampart's ability to fight back, at least for a little bit. We do see that the brick wall and Optim support going to kill off that chicken. And we are seeing some units inbound from Veronichek from the west coming in to clean the sky, clean the ground. Crab is inbound as well. Crab is over here, and a monkey. Team 1 needs some defense in the middle. This is going to hurt. If he sends it fully into that nuke, he might actually kill it off. Looks like the second nuke is going to go for Rampart. He's targeting him directly. I feel like the air player would be a little bit more powerful to go after. Monkey going to get almost wiped out in one pass over there. There's not really a lot of air being used by either team, just besides that Colossus, or not Colossus, that group of Corsairs over there. There goes the monkey. Colossus is dead. Speaking of which, this base for Eurofmeister is going down. Restorers are actually inbound for Artifacts. He's gone for T3 air in that regard, and his comm is falling back, obviously fearing what's coming. ASF's moving in to intercept Team 1's. Veronichek's forces are just sitting there on patrol. They need to move in. Those gunships, even though they have impressive AA, can only last for so long. And those forces are moving in, but the damage is already done. They've already been pretty much destroyed. Crab trying to push in. Chicken inbound, starting to cut off some of those forces. But Monkey is going to stay alive. I mean, the attack, essentially, Artifacts poked the bear, and the bear fought back. And it's not really going well here on the land side of things for the middle of the map for Team 1. And don't land your restorers in front of a monkey. That's probably not the best idea. Monkey going after T3 mexes. The base for Artifacts, its shields are down. Actually, if it had shields. Oh, there's a couple shields. We do see more restorers are inbound. ASFs are sitting there. Corsairs come in, kill off the crab here for Team 1. Those Corsairs coming in quite handy, though. The first attack wasn't great, but everything else has been really good. Chicken is offline. Team 2 still has their experimentals. And Monkey sitting out of range of all these P-gens. There could be a nice cascade happening. But still, Artifacts still loading that nuke. Really having troubles with his power. That monkey falling into the red. Really needs to get some more veterancy to be able to stave off death. And we see just it's not really targeting the P-gen. There goes a P-gen. 2 more remain in that lineup. Shields are falling. Those restorers trying to keep it online. T3 Mex is going to be targeting more power coming offline. The monkey possibly could have gone for that nuke, but I think the overcharge would have killed it off a lot quicker, talking about the comms. But look at this. The entire just middle lineup for Team 1 is gone. The eastern and western side are kind of fine, but they're having roaming attacks over here by Team 2 on this side. We do see the attack still outbound from Rampier, still wreaking some havoc. The Crab is left alone, though, and now the T3 land headquarters is down for artifacts. We do see the Restorers actually just fly by the thing. I don't know where they're going. They need to go back and kill off the Crab because there are ASF inbound, and Team 1 ASFs are still over here. Veronicek not sending them in to assist. Should have kept them over here. That Crab is not going to feel well, though. Those Restorers are still flying back. Crab looks like it's going to be intercepted by that Chicken and Monkey. And Chicken's going to take a lot of damage before it can fend off that Crab. I feel like the Crab could have gone just straight for the nuke at this point and killed that off. PD have been built, though. But like I said, I feel like the dangerous thing for Team 1, or from Team 1 to Team 2, is the nuke. The SMD over here is about to be loaded, but the nuke, of course, has been stalled quite considerably because the power reserves are just lacking. You can see the power is just negative, not as much mass anymore. Per second, they do have some reclaim to scoop up, but the damage is just going to be felt for at least another 5-10 minutes at a minimum. That's going to hurt. The nuke is not offline. It's been hampered, but it's not offline. SMD has been built in front of the air grid. That one will be fine. That one will be fine. The base over here could be edged, maybe. No, because there's no way to it without passing through, so that base will be protected. We do see some more air fights over here, but Team 1's Veronicek not sending his ASF in to protect, and Ping's still going down here, just keeping them over here. Outwasa somewhere says RGB, and Artifacts is like, what the heck, man? He said, I heard it. I mean, it's being built over here, but I don't think Veronicek has one online as of yet. No, yeah, that's the one being built, so that's not it's not online. Weird. And Artifact's a little bit annoyed that he's been constantly being attacked by Team 2's ASFs from Sanoman. Sanoman keeping his on the front line, but in the middle, and Veronicek just kind of keeping his constantly patrolling over Yerfmeister. We do see that there are some now focusing on the eastern side of things from Rampier. He's doing a very good job. Even though he took a nuke, he's really recovered from it, got back mostly online. And now, of course, we have dual SMDs over here for Team 2 to protect themselves. Western side, one SMD, but looks like there's another one right there. So everybody on Team 2 has an SMD nullifying that nuke from Team 1. Artifact still primarily loading that nuke. And, of course, that bomber is about to be finished here for Veronicek. That's going to really open the doors, but they don't have air control by any sort of stretch of the imagination. Team 1 sitting at 122. Sanoman sitting at 116. That isn't a huge advantage. 49 Corsairs is a lot of Corsairs, and 14 Whalers are also really... That's a lot of firepower there. That's a snipe possibility is what Sanoman's giving up for. But neither team has air control outright one way or the other, so I don't understand going straight for the bomber. I feel like more air grid would be more important, just to pump out more ASFs, be able to get air control, and then go for the bomber. And then again, the Restorers get absolutely destroyed by those ASFs from Sanoman. And the ASFs for Team 1 move in a little bit more, but again, the fighting already happens. The ASF retreat. We do see those Corsairs. Nope. I thought they were going to go for the nuke, but I think they see the ASFs building, and they're like, nah, we're good. Lots of T... Why are there 5 T3 land headquarters? Why? Why are there... You only need, like, one and then a backup. You don't need 5 of them. I mean, I know the engineering assistance is obviously better on the land headquarters, but... Or the headquarters in general, but still... I feel like it's cheaper to just go for T3 regular facilities and then assist with a couple of engineers. We do see some bricks and some Percys going at it. And of course, some loyalists in the mix. Love to see these in every cyber land army. I don't care if you have 1 of them or 10 of them. Just being able to redirect missiles is very, very powerful, especially if a billion nuke just sails overhead. And you're able to go like, nope, and then put it back the other way. Engineering operations here from Rampira. Everything's kind of quieted down in the middle now. Nuke is outbound, but it's not going to land unless it goes to somewhere. It's not protected by SMDs. Where is it going? Oh, if it's going to attack on that same vector, it's not going to land. Actually, it's changed going after this. The SMD is loaded, unfortunately, for artifacts, so that will be shot down. And Dr. Lexus will be very happy that the nuke will be shot down. He's going for an artillery as we speak. The Emissary T3, best one in the game. And there goes the nuke, and there goes the SMD. Oh! That was a little tense there, probably for Dr. Lexus, because it somehow missed. I find it very funny that that still happens, that somehow the SMD, I mean, it doesn't miss entirely, but it's kind of like, adds to the tension, kind of, you know, clenches up a little bit. Like, that's not fun to watch that as the caster or be the player having that happen to him. I don't know if it has something to do with how the targeting works or something, but or the angle of approach, but it's always interesting. Anyway, I feel like that maybe that's just a feature that they just can't get rid of. I don't know. I'm not a mod / game developer, so I have no idea. Dr. Lexus and Team 2 Sandman have Omni satellites on Omni radars online. Love to see 2 of them. This map isn't a 20 by 20, but it's big enough where having 2 is very powerful, especially the middle of the map here. No little tricksies plays. We do see a couple of monkeys, and couple being 3 of them. Actually, sorry, 4 of them, 2 chickens and a crab with a bomber overhead. This is not going to go well for Team 2's land side of things. The bomber drops the bomb, says, no, I'm out of here, see you, bye. Nice placement, kills off pretty much most of those T3 support. ASFs are inbound, going for the bomber. Will Vernacek send them in? No. But there are some Corsairs inbound, going after, of course, the everything over here. 1 Colossus is down. Second one, 1, 2, 3, 4 lasers plus 2 chickens. And there goes that chicken. Just gets one tapped. Absolutely destroyed by Santaman's Corsairs. Bomber is inbound once again, but it gets immediately destroyed. It gets impacted on ASFs in the middle of that air fight. Oh, and lots of just injured and dead ASFs in that mix. That is gonna hurt. Looks like Vernacek will gain air control. Just definitively at this point, I think he's sitting at over, say, 75? No, over 150. Jeez. So that's a little bit more in his base. But that is a air dominance for Team 1. Those monkeys are still pushing in. Sniper bots and chickens and everything else trying to fend this off. Lots of dead experimentals. That is a large reclaim field. That's a large amount of ASFs too that to scoop up as well. Will this monkey be enough? No, it won't. The chicken will probably get veterancy. No, it will not actually, surprisingly. The chicken will die though. And the chicken's going to try to go for the Ion Storm to deal with some of those bricks. But there is a crab still remaining for Team 1. And the engineers are going to hastily get anything and everything they can. More and more restores being built by artifacts. But at this point now, Sandman doesn't have the ASFs to really fight back in any meaningful way. And maybe he'll kill off a couple of gunships. But the amount of gunships still here, you can just see the absolute horde of missiles being launched from those missile pods on the side of those gunships. Just devastating. How's the artillery going? It's about to tick over into the yellow. There it goes. 25% done with that. Teleporter has been started for Santaman. He might go for a telemaser play and some artillery play here shortly with that configuration of the shields and P-gens. 2 crabs here in the east versus 1 crab for Team 1. Careful now, he's building more crabs all the time. Team 1 sitting at 1.7k. Team 2 sitting at 1.9, 1.7, 2.1k. Some amount of mass. And those restorers, again, trying to make sure they do as much economic damage as they can. Crab holding position. Corsairs coming in for just some damage on said crab, which the crab will just eat those shots. But, again, the main focus is, of course, going for the reclaim. This is going to be a lot of mass for Europe Mice to play with. He's sitting at 131,000 mass reclaimed, and his team of artifacts at 118. And that is 350,000 mass for Team 1 and 100,000 for Team 2. 300% more Well, I should say 200% more than Team 2, sitting at 3 times the amount. We do see some Autumns pushing against a crab. And Veronicek killed off by Sanoman's teleportation. This will be huge for Team 2 to kind of break up Team 1's ability to fight back in the air department. There goes most of the air grid. It's gone. Sanoman is teleporting as we speak. It's now a 3v4 game. And that's got to hurt. Nerfmeister gains control of everything in the west. And Careful Now says, oof, rookie. I wouldn't say rookie, but just didn't prep for a telemazer. I'd say that's not really a rookie mistake. That's just, it happens. He was doing very well with air for the most part, and he got air control for himself and his team, but yeah, not the... Doesn't help he was also next to a P-Gen, so... no, that's an air grid, air facility, so that's still not the best thing. It is 40 minutes on the clock, so probably need some telemazer. Rebuild, says Artifacts. I mean... It is 40 minutes on the clock. It's kind of hard because the entire thing is gone pretty much. There's really nothing left. It does give Sanoman a lot of time to rebuild. Artillery being launched by Team 1, though. What's that coming out of? Coming out of a Disruptor, and the second one being built by Nerfmeisters. That's what he's spending all his mass on. So Team 1 has an artillery. Team 2's artillery 50% over. Artillery possibly will be started shortly by Sanoman. It is targeting the air grid, but 1 shield is not going to be enough. It definitely needs at least 2 to break that shielding, and especially if it's going to be assisted, at least 3. In the middle here, Nuke is still being loaded, not really being focused as much. Looks like it's more restore power. And a huge air grid has been started by Artifacts as well. It's going to take a while to get that up online, but at least he's building it now. More and more crabs being built. It's 2v2 so far in the crab department. Grand Pyre been focusing primarily on that engagement over there. Another crab over here. He's sending it west. 100,000 mass is Veronicek. Yeah, there's a lot of mass over here. And Team 1 is scooping it up. Looks like Team 2 now has 2 Colossus, 2 chickens, and 1 crab and a partridge in the pear tree. About to scoop up that group of Rex over here. This Colossus is almost done being reclaimed, but Team 1 needs to send their experimentals in. Unfortunately, they just don't have the power to fight back. We do see a run-by opportunity has emerged here for Careful Now. He's doing a very great job of that, and at the same time, he sends a little bit of his forces this way to send his crabs in. Distracts these crabs for a little bit, gets some damage on this one first. Better engagement here for Team 1. Love to see that. Of course, a lot of that support is being pulled, and the restorers are now moving in to assist. Great teamwork here by Team 1 on that eastern side. We do see that the chicken, monkey, crab, Colossus war has started once again. There's now 3 Colossus and a lot of sniper bots and harbingers, with some Asylum mobile shielding. But this crab is going to be the main target here for Team 1. There are 2 chickens over here. Bricks being grabbed. Chicken did not push forward. Looks like the Colossus are, though, so that Ion Storm will do a decent amount of damage to Team 2's experimentals. Crab's going to now refocus onto that first Colossus. And I'm going to actually split things because there is, of course, that engagement in the east. Crab is down for Team 1 and Crab down for Team 2. We do see this crab is in full retreat. Chicken is inbound to assist this crab over here in the east. That's going to be destroyed relatively quickly here. Those 2 chickens now moving in, and both crabs are going to be destroyed back to back here. There goes one, there goes the other. Team 1's artillery is defenseless. There is a second one online. We do see, don't see anything else. Air grid is being rebuilt, and bomber is being constructed as well. Chicken trying to stave off the damage from Team 2. Looks like they've shooed them away for the time being, but the eastern side hasn't collapsed yet. Team 1 hasn't pressured Team 2 as of yet, but the land side of things has been won for the time being. Restore is now called in from the east to assist with the western engagement, and this will help stave off attacks, at least for the time being. Looks like artillery is trying to be launched. Is that T3 artillery trying to land right on their doorstep? Yeah, it looks like there was barely enough range. Maybe that's T2 or no, that's T3 artillery. Huh. Interesting. They should be going after the air grid, unless they already took that out, which they have, actually. So that's why they changed targets. There's no shielding over here for LCR. Artillery is now done for the player of, let's see, that is Dr. Lexus. He's going for the nuke, and that nuke is not shielded. That nuke is going to go down. That is not the biggest threat for Team 2. I think the biggest threat for Team 2 is, immediately just one-tapped, directly impacted that nuke. We do see the restorers, of course, going after all of the support. Not a lot of AA. Some of it has fallen back, but a lot of it is just T3 AA being built as soon as the stationary kind. We do see, again, more experimentals over here. The chicken chasing a chicken, but the Iron Storm is going to catch up, quote-unquote, catch up to it. Team 1 PD just trying to stave off damage. We do see this chicken's going to take thousands upon thousands of hit point damages just because of that one Ion Storm. Crab is going to be destroyed. Artillery still raining in on this position. There's nothing left over here. Team 1 definitely needs some scouting to see where everything else is on the map. This emissary now going to get a brother here shortly, or sister, depending on what the fate will have it kind of thing. The chicken is still not being able to catch up to Team 2's LCR's chicken. This thing is almost destroyed, though. This chicken now sitting at almost 3-star veterancy with everything it's killed off. Restore is going to move in to intercept as well. But reclaiming efforts here for Team 1 and Team 2 have to be mounted immediately just because of the horde of reclaim on the map. Team 1 sitting at 400,000. Team 2 now starting to catch up a little bit at 200,000. But there goes the last chicken. A T3 mech will be destroyed. Another crab going to be built pretty quickly here by all of these engineers. And a now chicken on the front line. More Colossus over here. Man, Dr. Lexus is pumping those things out. All he's doing is artilleries and Colossus with some T3 support. That is a lot of them. And I wouldn't be imagining if Team 2 goes for more mobile AA soon. That's a lot of restorers. The restore ball is getting very dangerous. Of course, the restorer is not known for their air-to-ground weaponry, but you can see 1,000 of anything will kill anything, and that chicken's hit points are dead and gone. I'd say probably, what, less than 40-something seconds to kill that chicken off? I think there's currently sitting at, well, I don't count those ones, so like 50 restorers right here. Of course, he's now the de facto air player. We do see Yerfmeister still has the ASF, but he's expanding out his air grid as we speak. And Yerfmeister is a little bit as well, trying to get as much adjacency and easy of construction as possible. But 2 artilleries really need to start targeting Team 2, so it's not going to go well here shortly for Team 1. We do see more attacks in the east. Lots of Perseus and a couple of crabs and bricks as well. All that alpha damage from all of those Perseus is just... I love it and I hate it at the same time. I love it because I love to use it. I hate it when it's used against me. That's kind of how this game works. Sanoman is defeated by Yerfmeister. And looks like artillery landed on top of some P-gens, did some damage, and killed off Sanoman. That was a great grab by Yerfmeister's artillery. It's now a 3v3 tied-up game here. Rampure has control of everything in the east. We have Dr. Lexus and LCR on the west, so essentially you can think of it like a 2v1 versus a 2v1. Team 2 in favor of Team 1, Team 1 in favor of Team 2. The restorers running around the map here have been vital, keeping Team 1's front line relatively stable. You can see them flying back and forth across the map and really keeping Team 2 at bay. Specifically on this western side, it looks like now the artillery from Yerfmeister is targeting the main base for Dr. Lexus. It's going for Mexes down here. I don't know why. Huh. Anyway. Restorers still again roaming around the map, moving to the west. We can't push, just hold and do a game ender, says Sanoman. Game ender has been started. Artillery has also been completed here by Rampure. He was building it in that shield array that was built earlier on. The shields are falling around Team 1's Yerfmeister's artillery, though. There's a lot of engineers, but the emissary is very annoying to deal with, especially with going after shielding. And we see the Colossus gearing up for another crab and chicken push. There's another chicken inbound, another crab inbound. Yerfmeister has pumped those out, but Restorers are hanging off. Actually, those are ASF. Restorers are inbound, and there's really not a lot of AA in this mix here. Those Restorers are going to do deadly amounts of damage. Chickens try to push forward, but get wiped out. And here comes that Restorer ball inbound. Colossus are fleeing. Crabs using that long-range cannon to great effect. And that one Colossus in the middle is going to get wiped out first, and then probably to the right one, and then the left one, or vice versa, depending on what their attack priorities are. But it's not going well here for Team 2 on the land side of things. On the west and the east, it's kind of been not really a whole lot, definitely in favor of Team 1, but ever so slightly in that regard. There are some ASFs inbound for that Restorer ball, but there's not that many. They will kill off a decent chunk of that Restorer ball, though, but I don't think they'll do enough. And, of course, ASFs for artifacts go, nope, I'm good. Nope. Gunships were decently defeated, and there's more AA coming into support, but I feel like the AA is a little bit too late. They needed a lot more mobile AA, especially those Redeemers. And, of course, there's lightning tanks over here. Love to see it. 3 chickens destroyed. The reclaim field is massive. I am going to guess 250,000 mass. 381,000 on screen, and now it's 223. Okay, that's a little bit close. Total mass on the map, though, is 389,000. How is that Scathus going? It's still in the red, but it's popping up pretty quickly. 49 minutes on the clock. Artillery still raining in on the artillery for Team 1's Yerfmeister. Looks like it went after the air grid a little bit. Looks like that's the disruptor fire. The Awasa still just sitting over there, not really doing anything. UEF shield says Sanoman. Oh, it's talking about put some UEF shields on that side. And, of course, the crab and chicken push is mounting. There are so many experimentals now on this western side for Yerfmeister. He's sitting at 1.2k income. Dr. Lexus on one base. Looks like he's gating in a lot of SACUs, I would imagine, just because he's sitting at 1,000 mass per second. I don't really see a lot of them, so I guess not. But he now has 2 artilleries online. Third one now started, where you see LCR coming in to assist with some Seraphim shielding. Love to see that assistance. And even if he's not assisting building the actual artillery itself, the fact that he's building shielding to protect the ones that already were built is just very good teamwork there. Very, very good use of technologies. Seraphim shielding are the best, that sort of thing. Love to see it. And, of course, the AoE is just enough to cover both of them, at least in terms of at least these 2. At least that one, and that one pretty much covers, I think, part of it. But Dr. Lexus, the only thing I would criticize is he's sitting in the middle of all that P-Gen shield nonsense. If the P-Gens go boom, he goes boom. So just he has to be a little bit careful of that. So many dead chickens and Colossi. Doesn't even have enough anymore. LCR is defeated by artifacts over here by those Restorers. It's now a 2v3 in favor of Team 1. We do see that Careful now is just in the middle of nowhere over there, just not in his main base. Looks like he's getting some more shielding to protect his investments. Artillery here for Team 1 has been eliminated, so that is starting to be dangerous for Team 1. Not having that online. Give mass for Scathus instead, says Sanoman. But I think Dr. Lysis can continue to just go for it. If that Scathus comes online, I wouldn't say it's game over, but it definitely shifts the balance of power quite considerably. If Team 1 is to push it, were to push it, with all of that experimental firepower, that might be enough to actually just end the game. There's a lot of T2 PD kind of dotted around the map over here. There's a lot of AA over here. There's obviously a decent amount of Harbingers and like what is it, 4 Colossus? Not 2 Colossus now? 3 Colossus now, but actually one's under construction. But there's not as much firepower as there used to be, and it looks like Yerfmeister sees that and decides to just send them in, at least to some degree. On the eastern side of things, an attack mounting once again. The land side of things starting to collapse once again for Team 2 on this eastern side. Rampier hastily trying to build that Scathus and getting some more shieldings to protect it, and crabs. And if Team 1 is able to break through and kill off at least this set of artillery, that might be the game. Of course, we see chicken is down. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 crabs, 2 chickens. No monkeys anymore. There is 2 colossus, though. That one is not going to last very much longer with all of that firepower. 3,000 per dual cannon shot. And you can see just the hit points. Look at that. 20,000 just gone instantly. This chicken will be killed off. But that amount of crab support is a lot. Nuke, says LCR. Team 2 does have a nuke. It is almost loaded. And that would probably target the that group of crabs. And the comms for Team 1 are relatively protected. Team 2 has Rampure. He can still go for Telemazer. Scathis is over 50% done. Crab has been built. The 3rd artillery is almost done. Team 2 almost have 4 artillery online. And yeah, the base is not really going well here for Team 1. You can see kind of pockets of stuff being riddled apart. And those look like a disruptor might be started here shortly. I don't know if that's really worth it at this point. More chickens. And more chickens and more crabs are being built. But that crab push is mounting. We do see a chicken coming in here from Team 2's Rampure. It looks like it was a different one that was built. But of course the eastern side is collapsing. It looks like, careful now, just slowly sending them in. I'm dead, says Rampure. I mean, he has a little bit of time though. 1 crab, not going to be enough though. It does kill off another chicken for Team 1 though, so that's something. But there goes another chicken as well. 2,000 hit points, there it goes. That crab doesn't have a lot of legs remaining, though. Another chicken is online. Colossus trying to be built. And that 3 artillery bombardment is inbound from Dr. Lexus. He needs to target the comms at this point. And Yerfmeister is being targeted, or at least being close to being targeted. Lots of Team 1 PD have been built to protect himself. He's like, I'm out of here, see you, bye. And yeah, they're a little bit wide. We just have lots of E-storages up there. I love the line of E-storages. That'd be an instant cascade is what that is. But those crabs are still pushing in. And the chicken's also fanning out a little bit as well. They're going straight for that nuke. It's going to land where they are, not where they're going. Obviously, there's not as much travel time. But the crab's trying to get out of range. I think the only 2 that'll really be affected are... Oh, this one's going to die for sure. Well, it is at 70,000 hit points, so it will probably... It'll stave off death, but be completely kind of nullified. Oh, yeah, look at that. 2,000 hit points remain. All the other ones are fine, though. I love the attempt, but, of course, the nuke has to really be, fired where it's going. And all of those experimentals actually shifting this way. Looks like it's going after the Scathis. And there is nothing that Team 2 can do to stop this. There'll be 1 crab possibly built. There is one over there, so maybe 2. There, of course, are the crab threat over here. It looks like Careful Now is moving in for that line of attack as well. The 3 emissaries, though, are kind of dangerous, I might add. Maybe just split off a couple of units for that way. We are seeing some Team 1 Zooey spam trying to distract Yerfmeister, but it's not going to do a whole lot. Of course, Yerfmeister's underneath shield protection, but he's constantly being bombarded. And he has Seraphim shielding at his disposal, but it's not holding out as much as he would like. You see that disruptor, of course, is still online. Crab intercepting these chickens. Chicken don't really care. If they get pretty close to that Scathis, it's game over for that Scathis. So it doesn't really matter if they die. The Ion Stone will kill it off. That crab was defeated, of course, very heavily destroyed by that nuke, but at that point it was, Scathis is gone. Crab is going to be built, though, surprisingly. And immediately stands up and starts firing. It doesn't even have a second to breathe. That chicken is dead. This chicken going to run straight into that newly minted crab. Percy's ripping into that chicken's hit points, though. But now the crab's coming in from the east. 55 minutes on the clock here. And Team 2's walls are crumbling. Everything is going down. We do see that the Ion Storms are activated. And that crab's hit points are just being depleted. Team 2 has 4 artillery still online, trying to target the comms, or at least I would assume Yerfmeister, because he would be the main one to go after, because he's microing all of these forces. Gonna give Team 2 a little bit of a respite, just because of the transfer of control and all that. But there goes Rampure's main facilities coming offline. The shields are down. The artillery still is active. The Ion Storm underneath the shielding. Now that's not always a good thing. P-Gen goes down. Shield goes down. SACU is being targeted. Trying to just eat away at Rampure's remaining eco. And there is a couple of Colossus and Team 2's Lexus's team actually just leaves. He sees the writing on the wall and goes, it's only going to be a matter of a couple of minutes. And yeah, this attack would have slowed down Team 1's approach. But after this, I mean, you have one Colossus built. Maybe that one would have been built in time. That artillery was about to go offline. On the northern side of things, you have, I mean, I don't really know where the artillery was targeting. Looks like some of the air good was also taken out. Looks like by the disruptor fire. But yeah, I don't know where the emissaries were targeting. Some shots over here. But like I said, the writing was on the wall. Oh, how was the nuke loading? Oh, it was on it. Oh, so so if the nuke could have been loaded in time, maybe it would have been enough to stop these crabs. Because these crabs, most of them are at least, half of their hit points. So even if you didn't kill them all, dealing tons of damage to them probably would have been enough. Maybe it would have been enough. Had that nuke landed a lot better, or like better positioned when it, obviously impacted, I think, I wouldn't say the game would have been entirely different, but this would have been slowed down considerably. This attack still would have happened. Less of it would have been effective, though, because the crabs came in where they just ripped everything else apart. But I think Dr. Lexus should have waited a little bit longer, tried to launch the nuke, tried to, use his Colossus to stave off the attack. That one was immediately evaporated for these three Colossus push. So there's 4 crabs plus 2 chickens, and restorers overhead. But I feel like there was a small chance, but the chance still existed, though. The only issue, though, is even if they're able to stave off this attack, they don't really have much in the reserves left. They don't have an game raider being built. That artillery would have been taken offline for sure, so leaving these 3. I just don't know if Team 2 really had enough to really fight back. Lots of engineers over here just assisting that facility producing restorers. Maybe we could have seen Careful now go for something else, but he was producing crabs all the time. He was very solid. I mean, it was a decent back and forth, but he was very solid on that eastern side. MVP for me, I think it goes to Yerfmeister. He did such a good job on this western side. Gained control, of course. Caliber's forces, unfortunately, he had a connection issue and wasn't able to stay. Did a very good job. Got all of those crabs online. Tried to get artillery online, which did a good job taking out, who was that? That was Sanoman with those P-Gen explosion assisting that as well. So I think Yerfmeister gets the MVP award for me in my book for this game. Let me know down in the comments if you agree or not. Of course, if you haven't done so already, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so very much for watching to the end, and I will see all of you in the next one.